Information questions, simple present. In this lesson, you will learn how to form information questions with all verbs in the simple present except for be. What do you know about polar bears? Where do they live? They live in the Arctic Circle. What do they eat? They eat fish and seals. How long do they live? They live about 30 years. Notice these questions. These are information questions in the simple present. They all begin with a question word, and then they all have do to ask the question, followed by the subject and the verb. Let's take a closer look. Do you remember yes/no questions in the simple present? Do you remember that they all begin with do or does? Here's a reminder. Yes/no questions begin with do or does, followed by the subject, and then the verb in its simple form. Put the question word in front to form an information question. Let's start with a yes/no question. Does Jason drive to work? Yes. Yes, he does. When does Jason drive to work? 8:30. What does Jason drive to work? A car. Who does Jason drive to work? His friend Jack. Notice, all of these questions are like the yes/no questions. They have does, because Jason is the subject, and drive, which is the verb, and it's unchanged. It's in its simple form. The subject, Jason, is in the middle, and the question word is in front. Let's look at some more. Here's another example. This is Tigger. Does Tigger watch TV? Yes. Yes, he does. When does Tigger watch TV? Maybe all of the time. Where does Tigger watch TV? In the living room. Why does Tigger watch TV? I don't know. Look at the questions. They all follow the same pattern as the yes/no question. Does and watch make the question. Tigger is the subject, and the question word is in front. Let's look at some more examples. Does she cook? Yes, she does. This is a yes/no question. Let's change that D, and now we will put the question words in front. What does she cook? She cooks vegetables. Where does she cook? She cooks in a restaurant. When does she cook? She cooks from 12 to 7. Why does she cook? She cooks because it is her job. Who does she cook? No, this is not possible. She doesn't cook a person. We could say, who does she cook for? But that's a different kind of question. How does she cook? She cooks very well. She's an excellent chef. Okay, you try. What question word do you need to make these questions? You have the answers. They study law. They study in the library. They study in the afternoon. And you have the yes/no question already. Do they study? So you just need the question word in front. Ready for the answers? What do they study? They study law. Where do they study? They study in the library. When do they study? They study in the afternoon. Okay, one more. What are the question words? This is a bald eagle. It lives in North America. It eats small animals. Where does it live? What does it eat? Okay? Okay, What is the correct word order to make the question? When do they play soccer? When do they play soccer? They always play on Saturday mornings. What is the correct word order? Where does Sophie work? Where does Sophie work? She works at a hotel downtown. What is the correct word order here? Why do you study English? Why do you study English? I don't know. Why do you study English? What is the correct order here? Last one. We have two do's. Where do you do your homework? Where do you do your homework? Remember, the first do is to ask the question, and the second do is the verb do your homework. In this lesson, you learned to form an information question, put the question word in front of a yes-no question. Where do they live? They live in the Arctic Circle. Where is the question word? What do they eat? They eat fish and seals. And what is the question word here? What do you know about polar bears? Where do they live?